Hello and welcome back in another sheet metal workshop. And in this video I'm going to show you how to insulate a pipe. And because I'm a sheet metal worker for insulation, I was thinking, well, it could be interesting to show some insulation. I have decided to show it on 4 types of pipes. I have a DN400, so that is a 16-inch pipe. I have a DN250, what makes a 10-inch pipe. That's made by myself, these pipes, so these actually simulated. On the 16-inch pipe, we have here with steam heat. So on this pipe, you see I have here two pipes, and on some plants, chemical plants, we have also steam heating pipes, so it keeps the temperature warm. And then I have 2 other pipes. It's a 4-inch pipes, just a normal naked pipe. And I have also tried to simulate a 6-inch pipe with electric heat tracing. So these are the 4 types of pipes I'm going to show in this video, how it works. I have 3 types of wool. This is actually rock wool. It's mostly used in chemical industries or chemical plants. And I have here 3 types, like I've said. I have 50 millimeter thickness, and I have a 70 millimeter thickness, and I have 100 millimeter thickness. What I also have, and what you need, is hedge shears. You can cut with it wool, but you can also use it for other purpose, maybe to cut something in your garden. I have here dimpled sheet. I'm going to explain where we use this for also in the video. I have hooks, wool hooks, that is to connect the hook on the wool to make it fast. Then we have a pincher. I have a self-made hook. Look like this, it's from a full metal wire. I'm also going to explain in this video how that works. We have aluminium fouling. And I also have here rings, distant rings. So that is everything what's about. Oh yeah, sorry, I almost forgot. We have here also what we call is manchetta. That is something like a protection. What I'm also going to explain. Then we have a folding ruler. Folding ruler we have. And I have a tape measure to measure the circumference. Okay, well, if you're interested, then stay tuned and let's have a start. Now, I've decided to start with the 16-inch pipe. It's a DN400. It's got an outside diameter of 406 millimeter. And the naked pipe got also a circumference of 1275 millimeter. Now, these are those steam heating, what keeps the pipe warm, and we're also going to check out something else. That means how to get the good size for the circumference of the wool. That means it doesn't matter which pipe we have, which size we have, and what thickness we have also on the wool. It must always fit. Okay, now before we continue putting the wool on it, that is something how we do it here, mostly in Germany, in Holland and Belgium and other countries. I don't know how it is on the rest of the plants, but here, when something has so heating pipes on a naked pipe, we cover first, what we do is we cover it with aluminium foil, and I'm going to demonstrate how that works. So you just put here on the pipe foil. When it is a little bit bigger, take it together, fold it like this. And then the second one also. So we have that size here. I mean, I would like to do this on a real site, on a real chemical plant, but that's not so easy. So here also, we pull it like this here together. Mostly we use that because after a while, maybe after a couple of years, when you put off the wool and then you put off the foley, the pipe stays really clean. Okay, we're going to start with a 100 millimeter wool. This is 100 millimeter thickness. I don't have the original package, but mostly on a package there's an information label, and you can see it's 500 millimeter wide. So this should be 500 millimeter, and it's got a thickness of 100 millimeter. So this is the thickness of 100 millimeter, and it's long 2500 millimeter. Now I'm gonna open it. So this is the original length. And now I'm gonna check out how we're going to cut the wool. Now normally, if you're working with insulation wool, you also need some protecting items, and in that case, normally you should use a mask, a dust mask with a filter, just to protect you. You won't inhale the fiberglass what's in that wool, or you can also put on those white protection overalls. I'm not gonna wear this in this video because I'm gonna only do some cuts, not the whole day. But if you're working every day and whole day with rock wool, I recommend you use those things. Now we're going to continue. That means how much I have to cut to make it fit. Therefore you need a tape measure. I have already put on the folia. The pipe is like it is. I'm gonna take the circumference, and we have here a circumference of, well, 1,300 and, well, almost 1,330. So 1,330. Now, most fitters and most installations guys I've talked with, they say, I mean, there are different types how you can calculate, and the most popular one here is circumference and plus 4 times the material thickness. That means 1,300 and 4 times the material thickness. The material thickness is 100 millimeter, so 400 and 1,330 makes 1,730 I have to cut. And sometimes, well, it depends, sometimes a little bit more, not too much more, a little bit. So we're going to do that now. And I'm gonna cut it from here, from this side. Pull it a little. 1,730. So this is here 1,730, and I'm gonna put it here on the beginning where the wire ends, because that is where I'm gonna put those hooks on. 730, and here's the end. So normally we mark it, make a line, and we cut it. So I'm going to put this here to side, and what we now need are these hooks. I have here a view of them. So that is normal steel. These are the most familiar hooks we use. And I'm gonna put here this wool on. One hook. I didn't do much wool insulation, but I know how it works. So mostly we use 3 hooks on one part. And now I'm gonna squeeze here more. Okay, now you can see here also from the side how it looks. We have here 100 thickness everywhere around, and here also. Well, that was 100 millimeter, so it worked. Circumference plus 4 times the material thickness. Now if you want to tighten it more up, you need a pincher. So if you want to tighten it more up, normally with a pincher, you grab the hook and turn it once, so it squeezes the wool a little bit more together. And now the first layer is fit, and you can continue with your pipe insulation in the direction you have to go. Now that's it. That was the 100 wool. I'm also going to demonstrate it the same thing with another thickness. I'm going to put this here. Going to use the same wool because this is the biggest pipe I have. I'm going to use the same wool later on other pipe. So that is the 100, and we're going to test it with a 17 millimeter. This one is 70 millimeter thickness. These are the only wools I have at the moment. You see, this is a lot longer. Okay, we knew the circumference were 1330 plus 4 times the thickness. That means this is 70 thickness. That is 4 times 4 multiplied 70 makes 280. That means 1330 plus 200 is 1530. Plus 80 makes it 1610, if I calculated it right. So here again 1610 where the wire begins, and a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna move it, and here I'm gonna put my finger. And then I'm gonna cut it. First hook. second hook and the last hook. So you see here now, like to turn the pipe a little bit. Here is the seam. Now, of course, if you want here, you can use this one also, my self-made hook. If you want to have more power in it. So that is the 70 thickness wool. It's just to show how to be done. 70 thickness. So that means, I'm gonna repeat, you take the circumference with your tape measure and give 4 times the insulation thickness, maybe a little bit more, and it will fit. Okay, that was enough of what I wanted to show about the 16-inch pipe, and the next pipe I'm going to show is the 10-inch pipe, and therefore I'm going to change it. And the next pipe is the 10-inch pipe. That's a DN250 that can have an outside diameter of 273 and got a circumference of 875. Now on this pipe I'm going to show is I'm going to put distance rings on it. These are those distance rings, and I'm going to put 100 insulation on it. So you see here, this is a distance also from 100 millimeter. We have here also an insulation piece. It's made out of nephelite. That's how it's called in German, nephelite. It is just there to not bring over the heat. So if the pipe is very warm, and it will not trans over the warm that make it stops. Okay, now I'm gonna put here on those rings, and these are distant distant rings. And another one. These are distant rings, so the metal what covers the insulation, well, won't go down. It's actually something, a stabilization, and is also used a lot on a lot of pipes. I just do this here one also as another example. Okay, now, normally you can, if you already know the circumference of 875, but you can, if you don't know, you just take your tape measure, and we go here, and we have here exactly the circumference of 875. And then plus 400, that makes 1275. Now I have only that one piece of wool, what I've got left from the other, 1175. So 1275. So I'm gonna make it here where the wire is, and here's where I'm gonna cut it. You can also put like I did before the pipe, aluminium foil over it. It depends where it is necessary and where not. So one hook second one, and here we have the last one. So now we have here the wool. And normally I don't now have any 1275, okay, so I'm gonna try to oh, the wool is a little bit in my throat. That happens when you not wear a mask. So 1275. That makes 640 a half. Well, I'm not gonna insulate. I don't have so much wool here. Well, so I'm gonna connect. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna. So I've cut this now in half, and if I put it like this, I have here exactly the size I need, almost 1275. Now I have my special made tool by myself, and I'm gonna put left and right the next one. So what I'm going to do is put this wire here. See, take the other wire. So I put it here, take the other one, and just turn it a couple of times. So I'm connecting this. Here, same thing. And then put it out. And now we're going to see if it fits. Well, that didn't go well. So if that happens, I didn't do it right. But no problem. An insulation guy makes everything fit. So I'm just gonna hook this one up. And here, the other one. So I'm gonna try to turn this a little bit more. Okay, normally on the side you can turn that easier pipe like I did. It's just to show. So one side is done. The next side, so now I'm gonna do it a little bit better. Again, take the wire, turn it a couple of times, and then put it out. Next thing here also, take the wire, pull, turn it a couple of times, pull it out, and here again. Okay, I think this should hold. Between the rings, yeah, it's a little bit tight. And now here the second part, the last part is done over it. So, and like I've said, it's just a small example. Normally could be better. You can also put more, if you have those seams between the wool. You can put here hooks between, like this. Same thing on the other side. Okay. Now, and then to complete this pipe, I've decided to put some metal on it. This is just short examples made in the sheet metal workshop, just to demonstrate it. Now there are also other tools. If you're working with big pipes and you have problem to connect it, we have other tools. I don't know how this tool is called in English, but in Germany we call it the Spanner. The Spanner. So the Spanner, there's a strip, makes it easier to get the metal together. So it actually struggles it together. See, here's a hole. And now I need this and the needle to find exactly where the hole is. Okay, it's on the right side. That's one side. Well, it's still a little bit in my throat, the wool. So the next one, we're going to do it on the other side. So these are just examples when you're insulating a pipe with metal, and how it works. There it is. And that is the way it works. And now you can continue with your metal, following the pipe and insulate the pipe. So that was the 16-inch pipe insulated with distant rings. Now we go to the next pipe. Now we have here the third pipe, and the third pipe is electric traced, electric heat traced on a pipe. It's also used on mostly chemical plants. And this one is actually a 6-inch pipe. That means the information on the pipe is here on this side. So it says 160 millimeter diameter, 4 millimeter thickness of the pipe, and 1 meter long. Now, the same as the steam pipe, we also put here an aluminium foil protection, cover it with it. So now I'm gonna pull off here the piece. It's just to show here how it works. So I'm gonna put here on over the aluminium foiling. I'm not gonna insulate the whole pipe, just a little piece about it. Now the next thing what we're going to do is, because we know we're going to also put some metal on it, because suppose here's the beginning, and we're going to start the pipe with an end cap. That's how this looks like. So the end cap, the cutout is already here, and we're going to fit. And mostly when we use heat tracing, we have also to do with condensed water, what is coming in the pipe by time, and therefore these pipes are with holes, so the condensed water can escape. And we also use what we call these noppenfolie. And the noppenfolie looks like this. It's from plastic. I think we call it in English dimpling sheet. And we cut it here with the galantine in stripes like this. But therefore we're going to first put on the wool. And what we also have here is the manchette. It's mostly made out of aluminium because you can form it real good, and that is when the cutout comes from the end cap, it won't cut in the wires. It's something like a protection. We're gonna pull this here on like this and just leave it on it. Now, next thing is we're going to take here the circumference of the pipe, and that circumference is almost 540, so 530. I'm going to use 70 wool, so 4 times the thickness, that means 280 plus 530, that means 730, 810. 810 is the cut size, but cut always a little bit more. No, not always, sometimes, some depends. So 810 we've set. So 810, we have here 810. So here's at the beginning, and here is where we're going to cut. So if here is start ends, we're going to give a little bit more. That's what the experience said. Probably other fitters, other installations guys, I know there are also other methods to do. I didn't want to make a too long video to show all the methods, but I'm going to cut it out here with the head shears. And like you can see here, it fits very good. So if you've never done this job before and you are interested in to be an installation guy and you have to go somewhere on the side and you've never done this job before, well, maybe after watching this video you will have some knowledge about it. Okay, now here's the metal. Just put it on. You can also, if you don't have those hooks, but you still need to insulate the pipe, like I've showed this before. This is a 6mm full metal wire, just folded. These are my example sizes, just here, I mean here 13 centimeter by 15, and then a little hook make. And if you don't have those hooks here, you can just grab it here, put this together, see, and then connect this, see here. So this is also a method if you don't have those hooks to do it. Now we're gonna put here now the end cap on it. I have marked it so I know where to put it. So when the seam is here, I have to see that those holes stay under, but now I'm gonna put here the end cap on. So if you do the cutout by yourself, always make a little bit bigger cutout. Okay. So that means when the end cap is there, doesn't matter if you push it, it won't cut the wire. Now the next thing is the dimple sheet we're going to put on. So normally on 1 meter we put 3 parts of dimple sheet. It's also something like a distance ring that is for the condensed water what has to escape. So normally you put it here like this and just take your machine and put a screw in it. So normally this one comes under the box. I can put a second one on it. Okay, well, and now the last part is the metal. So the metal is always a little bit bigger. So if you have 70 insulation, then you give in diameter at least 20 millimeters. So when the pipe is 160 diameter and I gave 140, that means 300. So I give 3 millimeters or 2 centimeter, 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter more in diameter for those dimple sheet. For this one, because there's also almost, well, 1 centimeter, I think it is, I don't know. I'm gonna find out here, for example. So I guess it's 1 centimeter. And now I'm just gonna complete this one and put the end cap on it. And finish it. And now you can continue here with your pipe. You can see here how this looks. So this is the protection, because you have here a cutout, and now it won't cut those electric heat wires. And now you can continue normal, put some Foley and continue your pipe to finish it. Okay guys, well that was pipe number 3, and now we go to the last pipe to show the last example. Okay, now we are here at the last pipe. It's a 4-inch pipe. It's almost a 4-inch pipe, so it's got a diameter, outside diameter here of 110 millimeter. 3.2 millimeter is the thickness of the pipe, and it's also 1 meter long. And now I'm just going to show only examples for the circumference of the wool to cut. I have left a 70 thickness and a 50 thickness wool. So first I'm gonna use here the 70 thickness and just a naked pipe. So we have here a circumference of 345. 345 plus 4 times the thickness is 280. 345, 445, 545 plus 80 is 625. 625, you're gonna use the 70 wool again. So this is only, I'm gonna only put on the wool just to make sure the theory is right. 625. So 625 is here at the beginning. So when it ends exactly here, I'm giving them a little bit more, only, so about a little bit. Now we're gonna cut it. See if it fits. And it does fit also on smaller pipe diameters. Now, that is 70 thickness. We're gonna check this out. You have here 70 millimeters. I'm gonna turn it around. Here's the seam from the side. Also 70. And here we have also 70. I mean, it's the wool. It always have a little bit, how you say, going out and in. Okay, well that's the 70 wool, and now we're going to put on the last wool, the 50 thickness, because I have the 50 thickness but didn't show anything about it. But we can also put a second layer. That's what we're going to do, a second layer 50 wool. I'm gonna put this back. Now there are some pipes with more layers on it, maybe 2 layers, doesn't matter. It could be a combination of a 70 and a 50 wool, or just a 120 thickness, doesn't matter. It's just to show that it is also possible if you're doing it with a second layer. Now the second layer we do just like by the pipe. We take the circumference around the wool, and then we have here 770 circumference millimeter. So we have here 50 millimeter thickness plus we said multiply by 4, that's 200. 770 plus 200 makes 970, so that's almost a meter. And this should work by all kind of pipe dimensions. So 970. Here we have 970 is here. Yep. And I'm gonna just here in a half hole more. And here are my favorite tools. And we always, as a beginner, as a sheet metal insulation worker, when you work 3 months only with this tool and your folding rule and tape measure, and after 3 months if you have made it, well, then you will be maybe an insulation guy. That's how I have made it. So my first 3 months I did only this kind of a job, nothing else. And if you don't like the wool, because you start scratching on your body, but if you have your protection on it the whole time and your mask, what I didn't use and show, I've shown it but didn't use it. Okay, the second layer. Now normally the second layer, if the seam is here on this side, we're gonna go here around so we don't have the seam on the same side. Now here I pull it again together, and as you can see here, it fits real good. And after watching this video and you didn't have any knowledge about insulation of pipe on industrial plants, well, you will be able to do it. So we have here now 70 plus 50, 120. Well, there's a little bit here, it's 120. That means I had to tighten it a little bit more to make it equal from each side. 120 wool. Okay, guys, that was a sheet metal worker who showed some piping. So I hope you have learned something about this video, and if you've never done this job before, well, you will certainly have some knowledge. But if there are any other questions about insulation or sheet metal fabrication, well, there is that Facebook community, Facebook group, Insulation Masterclass, made by my master himself, Master Greenbelt from Newcastle. He is waiting there to solve problems or answer any other questions. I myself also an administrator, I'm very proud of it, and nice greetings to Master Greenbelt from Newcastle. See you, Master, and guys, see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.